Hello YouTube, this is Chandu. In our previous lecture, we discussed about taking input from reading input from keyboard as well as uh, type conversions. Now we will see what control statements. Now, what is a control statement actually? Control statement is used to control the flow of our program. Okay. Now here, control statements are used to control the flow of execution of program. And these are of two types. What are they? They are conditional statements, looping statements, or iterator or compound statements. Now looping statements are also called as iterators or compound statements. Now conditional statements. Conditional statements means uh, we will evaluate the condition. If condition is true, then only we will execute some statements. Uh, if not, if condition is false, then we will skip those statements. Now, loop statements or iterators or compound statements are also same, but loop statements execute more than one time, and conditional statements execute only one time. And conditional statements are further divided into two types. They are switch selection statement and sorry condition control statements are divided into conditional statements are divided into two types. They are conditional statement and selection statement. Okay, divided into two. This is also called conditional statement, and switch statement is known as selection statement. Okay, now the conditional statements are divided into two types. They are conditional statement and if statement, or selection statement, or if statement and switch statement. Okay, let's see what these are. Now coming to if statement. Okay, coming to if statement, these are further divided into four types. What are they? They are first simple if, next if else, and if else ladder, and the last one is nested if. Okay, and coming to selection statement is only one, which is switch statement. Okay, let's go to syntax of these if statements. Now this is a syntax of if statement. This is a simple if statement. Okay, here if this is the syntax. Now if this boolean expression is true, then this statement 1 is executed. Whether this boolean expression is true or not, this statement will execute, because this is not in the if block. Okay, so this is not included, and this statement 1 is included in if statement. So whenever a boolean expression is uh, true, here in this case, whenever a boolean expression is true, this statement 1 will be executed. If statement 1 is boolean expression is false, then statement 1 is skipped and statement 2 is executed. Okay, now let's see the flow chart here. This is a simple flow chart of simple if. Okay, here mm, okay, see, now our program starts from here. When the in between the flow of our program, we gave an if condition, like now let us see one example here. If let's take blue. If x is greater than 10, for example, if x is greater than 10, I am printing system dot out dot println x is greater than 10. Okay, now system dot out dot println of outside if block. Okay, now this is our example. Okay, now here if this condition is true, then statement 1 is executed, right? Here also, if x is greater than 10, whenever we give here, I'm before execution of this, I'm giving x value as some 100. Okay, now 100 is greater than 10, right? Okay, this condition is true. Then what happens is it enters into this block, and this particular statement is executed, which is x is greater than 10. And next it comes out of this block, and this outside this statement is also executed. Okay, uh, if the condition is false, then if this condition is false, straight away this control comes to here, and this particular statement is executed. It means that if this statement is true, then this block is executed, otherwise this block is skipped. This is about if statement. Okay, this is about if statement. Now let's see the next one, which is if else statement. Now this is the syntax: if boolean expression statement 1, else statement 2, and statement 3. Okay, what it means? Okay, now if this boolean expression is true, if it is true, then this statement is executed. If this is false, then it comes to else block, and this statement is executed, and it comes out of the block. Okay, and here any one of these statements, statement 1 or statement 2, any one of these two statements is executed. If statement 1 is executed, statement 2 won't be executed, because here if boolean expression is true, then this is executed, and the statement control comes here. Okay, if this is false, then it goes to else block, and else block is executed, and then comes out of this block. Okay, now let's see this flow chart. Here this is the if else. Now here I am writing a program, a simple example. If the same thing, if x is greater than 10, system dot out dot println, I am printing same x is greater than 10. Okay, now here I am giving else block. I am giving else block here, system dot out dot println x is lesser than 10. Okay, this block is closed. Then system dot out dot println of outside if else. Now see here. Now here the control is at this condition. If this x is greater than 10, then the control moves to this block, first statement. Okay, now this is printed and then this is skipped, else block is skipped and control directly straight away comes to this block, ending of this block. Okay, then the system outside this one is printed, outside if else is printed. And next, if this statement here this is true, this is true condition. Now here this is false condition. What happens if this statement is false? If statement is false, then control comes to this block, else block. Okay, control comes to else block and this particular statement is executed, and after this it comes out of this block and this statement is executed. In the both the cases you observe this, outside if else block is executed. This is if this statement is true, then this block is executed and then control comes out of this. And if this is false, this condition is false, then control comes to else block and else block is executed and the other statements which are outside this block are executed. Okay, the same case here. Here condition, if this is true, it goes like this, and condition 1, statement 1 is executed and then statement 3 is executed and then program is terminated or the next statements are executed. If this is false, then statement 2 executed and then statement 3 is executed and then program terminates. Okay, this is the flow of if else block. Okay, next we will see if else ladder. If else ladder is also similar to if else statement, but the only thing is we will have multiple if else like this. This is same. This particular statement is same, right? And the only change is this block, this one. And we have many else if blocks. It's up to a programmer and its require and its requirement. Now if boolean expression, this particular if expression is true, then this is executed and control comes to directly, control comes outside. Okay, if this expression is false, then it checks this expression. Okay, if this is also false, then it checks another. If this is also false, and checks another. If this is also false, checks another. If all the statement, all the boolean expressions are false, then it comes to else block, and this block is executed, and here it comes out of block. If any one of these are true, then that particular block is executed. For example, let us take this is true. Okay, then this particular block is executed, and it comes out of the block and executes these statements. Okay, let's see flowchart also with a simple example. Now here is a flowchart. Okay, now here start condition 1. If condition 1 is true, statement 1 is executed. If condition 2 is true, then if condition 1 is false, it goes to condition 2, right? If condition 2 is also false, if condition 2 is also false, then it goes to condition 3. If condition 3 is also false, then it goes to conditions next 4, 5, 6 and so on and n. If this condition is also false, then it comes out of the block. Okay, it comes out of the block. If condition 1 is true, then it goes to statement 1 and executes, and program is terminated or next statements are executed. If condition 1 is false and condition 2 is true, then statement 2 is executed, and this statement 4 is executed, and program is terminated. If condition 2 is also false and condition 3 is true, okay, this means here condition 1 and 2 both are false, and condition 3 is true, then statement 3 is executed, and this statement 4 is also executed, and then comes out of the block. Okay, uh, if if I want to execute a particular statement, even if all this are false, then I will give else block like this. Actually, this else block is not mandatory here. Okay, this else block is not mandatory. I gave here because if these cases are, if all these cases, okay, if all these cases are false, then this block is executed. Like I'm printing all the expressions are false, or else if I take any request from the user, all the requests are not invalid, right? Not suited for that. If a user enters any wrong option and here those options are not present, in that case I want to print like invalid option. Okay, in those cases I am using this else block. Okay, next we will see nested if. Nested is also similar to this one, but here instead of two cases I am um, let's first see an example here. Here let's see an example. I'm writing only if block. If x is greater than 10 and so this is not working, I will write in hint. Okay, I will use this place. If x is greater than 10, sorry, and if x is less than 100, I want to print something like system.out.println of 10 less than x less than 100. I want to print this statement. Okay. Remaining. Okay. I want to print this statement. But here I am using two conditions. I am using two conditions. This is condition 1. This is condition 2. I am using two conditions in one statement. This is also valid. You can use two or more than one condition also. But all the expressions must be Boolean expressions. Okay. Now here I am writing one more code. If x is greater than 10, if x is less than 100, system.out.println, I am printing 10 less than x less than 100. Okay. Now this one. Both of these are same. This one and this one. Both are same. Here I am evaluating two conditions in one statement, one if statement. Here I am using two if statements. This is called nested if. Okay, this is called nested if, and this is simple if. Okay, this is simple if and this is nested if. Okay, this is the difference between these two, and the flow chart is very much similar to that of if statement. Here if condition 1 is true, then condition 2 is evaluated. If that is also true, statement 3 is executed. Okay, if condition 1 is false, then statement 1 is executed, and then statement 4 is executed, and here comes to stop, or if a program is terminated. Now if condition 1 is true and condition 2 is false, then it also skips. It means that if the two conditions are true, then only I want to execute this statement. Okay, this statement 3. In this case I use nested ifs, or else simple if with more than one condition in one statement, one if statement, right? I've told you example also. Okay, let's see an example on this, like bank transaction program. Okay, let's see a program using if. Here is a real-time application, but actually this is a very bad programming approach, wherein I am writing all the code in one class. We will use more than one classes. Like in C we use functions, here we use classes, and inside classes we use the class related methods and its variables and functions and so things. We will discuss them in detail while we move to object oriented programming, where we have many classes and objects and variables and so on. So now here I'm writing if else if demo. Okay, now here if else if demo, this one. Now here I wrote public static void main, this is our main method, and I'm using a scanner class object for reading name, balance, transaction amount, and transaction type. Okay, now here I am using string, sorry, this one, string name equal to scan dot next. Here next is a method which is used to take string input, and here float next to float Okay, for taking float I use next float. Similarly here also float, but here f should be in small case. Okay, here in this case f should be in small case. And next here also string. Okay, this one. Next, now I am checking the condition whether here I am giving transaction type as string. Here I need to enter whether it is deposit or withdraw. Okay, if it is deposit or withdraw. Now if it is deposit, then we have to add, we don't need to check what the balance is inside the account, right? So we will just add that balance and this transaction amount. I'm storing this transaction amount in TAMT, and balance plus transaction amount. Okay, if this is not the case, if withdraw is the case, then we need to check, because we are withdrawing the amount, we need to check whether the balance is sufficient or not, right? If the balance is not sufficient, then we will print insufficient balance. If the balance is sufficient, then the balance, if the balance is greater than transaction amount, it means balance is sufficient, right? Then balance is deducted. The transaction amount is deducted from this balance, which is balance minus transaction amount. Okay, and then I'm printing this name and, okay, and then I'm printing this name and balance. Okay, let's see the output of this one. Before this I want to take this one to new notepad. Actually I will move to Eclipse, not notepad. Not Eclipse, actually this is edit place. I agree. Okay, now I'm writing in D, in Java programs. Okay, here I have first class. These are already, we did this in our last lectures. Okay, now here I am creating new. This is the procedure, file new, and here we have Java. Okay, this is already generated code. Now here I am using this one class. What is our class? Okay, sorry, I am not using this one. I am using directly the program. See how beautiful it looks, right? These are all in colors. The things which are in red color are uh, are classes, and these black colors are statements, and pink colors are our statements, user defined statements. Now I said that this is small f, right? So I am changing it to small f. Now see, its color is also changed, its color is changed, right? So now it becomes a primitive data type. Okay, it is a keyword. Now I'm running it, I'm saving it. Directly save. Save it as, what is our class name? What is our class name? I'm saving everything if else if demo, right? Now if else if demo, if else if demo, I E I D are capital. Okay, now save. Now it is saved. Now open command prompt. How to open command prompt? Windows R CMD. Okay. Now here D, I wrote programs in Java programs. Right. Now we are in Java programs folder. Here Java C space if else if demo dot Java. Right. If else if demo dot Java. Now press enter. Whether it is compiled or not, it's giving some errors saying that, okay, Here we have to give two braces, and here as well as mm, that's it. What are the two errors we got? And the second one is if else without if. Okay, now compile it again. Java C if else if demo error else without if. What is this else? Okay, okay. Here I kept semicolon. Semicolon should not be kept there. If that is kept there, then it takes as a this statement is completed here, and this is a block, and here else. Okay, now if this statement is not it is terminated here, then else should be at this position. Okay, but here I kept this at this position, so it is taking as else without if. Now see, uh, you have to save it. Save command prompt Java C. Now it's compiled fine. Okay, now it's compiled. Let's execute it. Java if else if demo, right? If else if demo. Now I'm pressing enter. Enter name. I will write some ABC. Enter balance is some 5,000. Now enter transaction amount. Now here I am entering the transaction amount as some 1500. Okay, now transaction amount is lesser than balance, right? Then I can use withdraw operation and I can use deposit operation. Now enter transaction type. I want to deposit. POSIT. Now I want to deposit. Now it's deposited, right? Now balance is 6500. Okay. Now here this is the name, this is balance, and this is transaction amount, and I gave as deposit. Okay, now if deposit, then these both should be added, right? Balance plus transaction amount, which is equal to 65,500. Now let's see one more thing, withdraw operation. I'm executing it again. Now enter name. Here I'm again entering ABC. Enter balance. Here now I'm again entering balance 500, transaction amount as 1500, but here I'm giving transaction time as withdraw. Withdraw. Now what the answer you should get, what the output you should get as 3500, right? You can see here 3500. 3500. Okay. This is our bank transaction program, and now let's move on to our next statement called switch statement, which is selection statement. Now the syntax of switch statement is this one. Here switch value, variable or expression. Okay, here switch value, variable or expression, all three, and you can also give string types. Okay, this is introduced in switch statement with string is introduced in Java 5.0. Now case value 1, whatever the value you give here, if it is present here, then this statement is executed. Otherwise this statement is skipped, and here this one is checked. It is similar to if else if ladder. Okay, if else ladder. Now here, for example, if I gave something, okay, let's use paint. Actually, okay, here I'm using this. Now if switch off some, I'm giving case as 1 here. Okay, I'm not giving case 1 directly, I'm giving ch opening, and now here case 1 with a with a colon, and here I'm printing system.out.println of inside case 1. Okay, inside case 1, and here I'm not using any statement here. Afterwards I will use a statement. Case 2, I'm using two cases here. System dot out dot println of inside case 2. Okay, okay, now this is the situation. Now if I give something like some ch is equal to 2, then what happens? Okay, now what happens is, now this 2 is given here. Okay, then it is replaced with 2. Now the case, first this is checked whether the case is 2 or not. Now case is 1, right? So it is not executed. Now again it is skipped to case 2. Okay, it is skipped to case 2. Now this is satisfied. So now this statement is executed. Okay, now this statement is executed, and then it moves to next one. Uh, if this is not the case, if this is not the case, here instead of 2 I am giving it as 1. Okay, instead of 2 I am giving it as 1 choice. Then this is replaced with 1, this is replaced with 1, and then now this case is evaluated because this satisfies the condition. First statement satisfies the condition. Next this executes inside case 2, and now here it executes this condition also. Why? Because these cases, uh, we are not using any statements like here any control statements. So this all the cases are executed, and if some third case is there, then third case also executed, then and so on, and then so on, and then finally comes out of the block. Okay, to uh, come across this point of view, or this error, or this logical error, we are using a statement. The statement is break statement. Here I can use break statement. Here also I can use break statement. Okay, now this what this break statement is doing. This break statements takes the control out of this loop. Now if choice is 1, let us assume choice is 1, then after executing inside case statement, break statement is executed, right? Now this break statement takes the control out here, out of this switch statement. And similarly this also, if statement 2 is executed, or else 3, and so on so things. And the moreover, if all these cases doesn't match, then what? Then we will use a default case, default, and with colon. Here I am printing system.out.println of, this is inside default, right? Inside default case. Then here we don't need to write any break statement because this is the last one. If all these cases, if all these cases if all these cases are invalid, like false, then control comes to this statement and this is executed. As I said in if else ladder, where I use else block to give invalid request message, here I use default, similar to that case, default. And this is not the default, actually this is default, this is E, right? Next we will see the block diagram of this. This is uh, this first figure. This first figure. This one is with break statement. This is with the break statement. With break statement. And this one is without break statement. Okay, this is with break statement and this one is without break statement. Now here let's see a example. Now here flowchart. Now here case. Now which case? This is actually switch statement. Here I am selecting the cases. If this statement matches case 1 is executed and break, so it control comes out of this block and the program is terminated. Else if the case 2 is uh, equal to this case of choice option, then this is a case to executed and comes to, because there is a break statement in all these statements, the control comes out of the switch statement and it is stopped or terminated. Now coming to without statement. Now here if uh, condition 1 matches, then control goes like this, and then statement case 2 is also executed, and case 3 is also executed, and case 4 is also executed, similarly case 5, and finally default case is also executed. It means that if I have a bank transaction program, then if this is a, let us consider this as deposit, this as withdraw, this as change pin, or this as mini statement, and this as a check balance. Okay, all these 5 cases. If I choose this first one, deposit, if I use deposit case, then what happens here? And this is also invalid request. This is invalid request. Now what happens here? First, if I press deposit, then deposit money is deposited, as well as money is withdrawn, as well as pin. It asks to change the pin. If I change the pin, then it asks for mini statement. Okay, it gives mini statement and it gives it also takes, it also gives a balance, like a it mm, okay, it also gives a balance receipt, and then default again invalid request. Here if request is invalid, then none of this operation should be performed, right? But here all the cases are performed and then default case is performed. If these are this doesn't match, actually if it doesn't match, then default case executed, that's okay. But here even if I choose case 1, all the cases are executed. This is the drawback of without break statement, and with break statement we can overcome this drawback. Okay, this is a very nice feature in this switch statement, and we will see a bank transaction program, which is similar to the previous one, but it is a little bit different from the previous one. In this case, I am using three statements. First of all, I am First of all, I'm asking the user to enter his PIN number. This is like ATM machine. Now here then I am giving him options. ATM machine also gives options, right? Like withdraw, deposit, change PIN, or so like mini statement, current account, savings account, and so on so things. So I gave here three options for changing like withdraw, deposit, and also changing PIN. If user enters one, then I will enter into withdraw. If user enter two, I enter into deposit. Else if user enters three, then I request him to change the pin, right? But now here I'm not using all those calculations. If the user enters one, I'll just print inside withdraw, and similarly inside deposit, inside change pin. Okay, now user is trying to enter some option. If user enters something else from apart from these three options, then I say that this is invalid request, and I'm giving user another chance to execute this one, right? Now here switch type. Here if case is 1, then control comes here. Okay, control comes here, then this particular statement is executed and break. So now here comes out of this block. Okay, if this is 2, okay, if this is 2, then control comes to case 2. Control comes to case 2, and this block is executed, and after break statement is executed, then break statement will come take uh, control out of the switch statement. Now if this is 3, then control comes to change pin this one, actually case 3, and this particular statement is executed, and similarly break and coming out of the block. If user enters something like some 5, which is not there in our options, so then default case is executed, this one. Now this invalid request, please try again, is execute printed, and then it comes out of block. Okay, this is a flow of execution of our program. Now let's see what is the output of this one. Here control C, and using new notepad, I'm pasting it. Now I'm saving it, or else I can use it, or else I will use it edit plus. Here I want new program, new Java program. I'm not using this, I'm giving my own one. Okay, now see here, this is our program, right? Now I'm saving it, file, save, or control S, or here I have. Now here I'm giving it as switch demo, switch switch demo. Okay, I'm saving it. Now it is saved, right? Open command prompt, and now Java C switch demo dot java. Now it is executed. Sorry, it's compiled fine. Now Java space switch demo. Now he's asking for entering the pin number. I entered some pin number 1 2 3 4. Now enter transaction type. It's asking me enter transaction type. If I press 1, if I enter 1, inside withdraw. Similarly, I can use deposit and change pin also. Here I am executing the same program once again. Enter pin 1 2 3 4. Here I am not checking whether the pin is correct or not. In ATM it checks. There is another program for that one. We will discuss it whenever there is a time. Now here I am entering 2, then inside deposit, and I am executing it again. I am entering pin number 1 2 3 4 and giving option as 3 inside change pin. Now what if I do enter pin number 1 2 3 4? What if I give some 5? Then it's saying that invalid request, please try again, right? Invalid request, right here. Invalid request, this one, please try again. Why this message came? Because I entered an invalid option which is not there in this 3. Okay. Here I think I've executed all the cases. So this ends our switch statement. This is condition statements and selection statements. Okay. Now let's move on to our new which our next topic called loops, which are part of control statements.